Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Tranquil Waters by Stevie. Happy Monday. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having or had a good weekend. I had a decent weekend. It was relaxing at least. Got to watch some football. Kind of enjoy myself a little bit. We're back at it here on Tranquil Waters though. I'll get you caught up on what has been going on, what has transpired, so to speak. Finished up the contract that we had before up on field. Oh, I forget what field it was. It was up in the north end. Field 14. Actually, we should probably repair this thing while we're here. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I think our combine needed a little bit of repairing. Finished up that contract. Grabbed the straw. This time I remembered to grab the straw before closing the contract. That was beneficial. Put a good chunk of that straw. I really like that stoplight, that stop break light up there. That's just smart thinking. That's just smart thinking. I like that. So yeah, I tossed a bunch of straw. Let me see if I can bring us over here. Sorry about that. There we go. Our straw processing plant needed some straw, but also our TMR maker needed some straw. Since that is our main source of income is animal feed. Eventually we will sell some animal feed. But I need to keep our TMR silo productive, and it was out of straw, so yeah. We now have a good chunk of alfalfa. So our composter is full, our TMR maker is full, and we've got a good chunk of alfalfa in our silo ready to be used as well. It's kind of handy. But we're going to finish up our alfalfa field today for the next growth period. And I did a little investigatory work. Did a little testing, did a little investigatory work, and figured a couple things out with the alfalfa. I always assumed alfalfa was basically going to be treated like grass. Now, I don't know if it's just this map, or all of Stevie maps, or if it's whenever alfalfa is on a map, but it is definitely a little different than grass. And I'll show you what I mean here once we get this bad boy parked up. I don't know where I'm going to park. Let's just pull in here with it. We'll give it a nice wide turn. There we go. Try not to hit the header on the door there. Alright, beauty. So here we are on our alfalfa field. Let me get the GPS working straight away. Again, I forget if it's 90 or 0. Oh, I guessed right that time. Isn't that lovely? Using a mulcher. So I did a little testing. I went and grabbed our grass roller and tested it on our alfalfa field, and it did absolutely nothing. Now typically when I use a grass roller on grass, it acts like a layer of fertilizer. It's like putting down free fertilizer. That's how the game treats it. The only not downside, but you just have to remember it knocks it back a growth stage. So if you mow your grass and then let it sit overnight and then roll it, it's going to knock it back a growth stage to basically what it looked like, or at the stage that it was after you mowed it. So I usually try to roll it directly after I mow. It's free fertilizer, basically. But that's not how it works on alfalfa, at least not on Tranquil Waters. It did nothing. So then I grabbed the mulcher here, and I thought, maybe mulching will put down a layer of fertilizer for free. No, It did not. It did nothing with the nitrogen levels or the pH levels. I didn't assume it would pH, but nitrogen did absolutely nothing. Then I got to thinking, somebody left a comment. Why did you unhook that, Brad? Somebody left a comment on the channel a little while ago. User-YV4GP4, sorry, I don't remember the rest, mentioned you have to mulch the alfalfa field. And I know that Tin Man and I went back and forth a little bit, and basically thinking it was just a, it was for what, like, you get a little extra precision farming boost from it, a little extra, you know, extra cash. But then I did a little more looking, and I go, man, this is kind of interesting, so check this out. I didn't know it would do this. So if we go down to our alfalfa field, right? And as you can see, if we go over to precision farming, it's making no difference at all with pH or nitrogen. But, look what it's doing for growing. Isn't that interesting? It's actually kicking off the alfalfa growth straight away. So, in other words, by mulching, and now this is just my assumption or my guess, that by us doing this mulching, this is going to actually move us ahead a growth stage. So typically, if we didn't do anything but fertilize, which we still need to do, but if we didn't do anything but fertilize the alfalfa, July would be its first month, you know, of growth. Now, I'm interested to see, actually, would it be July would be its first month of growth, or would it be August would be its first month? I'm not sure how that would all work out. But for some reason, mulching alfalfa is kicking off a growth stage. And I fast forwarded the game. So I fast forwarded to July just to do a little testing without mulching. I should have done it with mulching. That might have been, well, we'll see. We'll have to just pay attention to it. But when I fast forwarded to July without mulching, it was at this growth stage right here. So I'm thinking by mulching, we're going to get the next growth stage in July. I guess we'll see. Long story short, wow, that was really winded. But I'm still trying to figure it out. And I think that's what it's got to be. And I think that's why user-YV4 mentioned you have to mulch alfalfa. Now, this is the first map I've dealt with alfalfa on. So maybe it's just a little bit of a learning curve. I just assumed, very much assumed, that alfalfa would be treated the same as grass. That it was an identical crop, except basically in name and looks. And that the game just looked at it as grass and called it good. But apparently that may not be so. This is interesting too. If we step out and take a look here, if you look on the lower right, you can see how the pH and nitrogen and stuff. But if we go over to where we've mulched, aha, you can see that bumps it up and now gives us an estimated yield and yield potential. So it's most certainly stepping it up a notch for some reason or other. And it looks like maybe it's just me, but does it look like to you all like it's, that could just be, it almost looks like it might be a little bit different shade. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it, I guess. Down here it looks like it is changing it to a little bit of a different lighter shade or something. I don't know. Curious. So we are going to get this thing mulched regardless. We're just going to give it a go. You know, why not? It's not hurting anything. Hopefully, if anything, it's going to step up the growth of the alfalfa so we can maybe get another cutting in a little bit sooner. I guess at the very least, that's what it'll do. Actually, at the very least, it's not doing anything, but it sure looks like it is interesting, and very interesting enough to me. I don't know. I'm so used to grass work that I just really assumed Alfalfa was going to be the same. So next month, July, is going to be a good harvest month for us as well. We've got barley. If I remember correctly, we've got barley and wheat. I think we've got that big barley field over there is going to be ready in July. That's a pretty decent sized field. I think that's the largest field we own. And then we've got a wheat field right over yonder there that should be ready to harvest as well. And we need both wheat and barley. We need some for our brewery needs barley. And if I remember right, I think our pig food excuse me, one of our pig food production silos needs wheat, if I remember right. Either way, we're definitely going to be able to use that up. Hopefully for sure. So I was talking to a friend of mine today. I don't know what we were talking about. We were talking about something, just nonsensical things like you do with Buddy, right? And we got to talking about people's names and like some strange names that are out there and people that we've known that have had kind of interesting names. I think we were talking about it seems like to me, and again, this is just complete nonsense to be honest with you, but it just seems like to me people that have kind of odd names oftentimes do really well for themselves, and I don't know if that's because they were brutalized in school by having an odd name. I just noticed something. My little side markers there. There we go. Aw, looks so much better. Little wings. Yeah. But people with strange names, I think, do really well for themselves. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they were teased a lot or something because of their name in school and stuff. And I started thinking, well, have I ever known anybody with an odd name? And of course, one immediately came to mind. Now, I know my dad had a friend whose name was Donald Duck. Yeah, Donald Duck. Now, I think Duck, if I remember correctly, was spelled D-U-C-H, if I remember right. But nonetheless, pronounced Donald Duck. Now, as a parent, I will tell you this. There is absolutely no way, if my last name is Duck, am I naming my son Donald. I don't care how much I love the name Donald, or if I did love the name Donald, it's just not going to happen. If I'm a Donald, we're not going to have a Donald Jr. Duck. DJ... Donald Jr. DJD. Donald Jr. Duck. But I have one that beats Donald Duck. I had a friend whose name was Brian Ball. Now, Brian was actually a decent guy. He was a pretty nice guy. We hung out quite a bit. We don't anymore. I haven't seen him in forever. But I had a friend named Brian Ball. He had a brother, I kid you not, Harold Ball. Now, it wasn't immediate. It wasn't like immediately. How do I put this? I think I was pretty young, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me at the time why he wanted to be called Harold so badly and not, Harry. I just thought some people are a little uptight about that kind of thing, Like, my name's Bradley, but I just like Brad. Just call me Brad. Bradley sounds pretentious, so just call me Brad. But this guy was hardcore. Like, if anybody ever called him, and I seem to remember a couple times when people would call him Harry, and he did not like that at all. And I think it wasn't until my later years in junior high or high school that it dawned on me why he was anti-Harry. I don't know what his middle name was. I would love to know. But why? Why, as a parent, would you ever do that to your kid? I just don't understand. Parents have got to figure that. They've got to know. You've got to know. You've got to know, right? It's like if your last name is Doe, I'm not going to name my kid John. You know, or my daughter Jane. It's just not going to happen. You know, there's some obvious things there that you just can't do. And in fact, I'm under the impression that it should be like when you're born, they should treat it like they do at the DMV with personalized license plates. Like, you can't get a personalized license plate, at least not where I live, that's naughty. Or if the DMV, are you going to move, bird? Or at least if the DMV considers it naughty, they're not going to let you put the F-bomb on a license plate, you know, and stuff like that. It would be hilarious if I was driving down the road and I saw that. Like, just a big F-U on a license plate would be, I don't know. I'd probably crash laughing so hard. But I think they should do the same thing in a hospital. When a child is born, if the parent is going to give them a name that really sucks, that's horrible, they should say nope, not going to do it. Figure something else out. You know, you've got a billion names that you can pick from. Okay? You know, you're bad that your last name is Duck. You are not naming your kid Donald. It just isn't going to happen. All right? If you don't love your child enough to not name him that, you know, we'll make sure he's taken care of. Or Daisy. Can you imagine? Hey, darling, what's your name? Daisy, Duck. It's like, come on, people. Set your kids up for success, not failure. But then I would swear that if you had the name Donald Duck, he probably went on to be a CEO. I don't know. It's just how I perceive it to be. He's got decent flex. It just seems like I've seen that in the past where some really bad names are with some, you know, people that have been successful in their life, and maybe that's why. Maybe because they got harassed. I don't know. Let's pause this for a sec. Let's kill you and kill the GPS. Let's hire up a hired worker so we can grab the old trike case, the old case 3540. It's got a decent horn, like that. And let's get it over to the alfalfa field so we can do some spraying. But yeah, there's just no way. Come on, man. Be kind. Do we have herbicide? Aha, this time I actually looked. All right, well, we got to empty our herbicidal fluid out and get some fertilizer. Here's a fertilizer tank right here. Can't believe I remembered that. What did I do? There we go. Okay. Let's pick up our fertilizer here. We're probably going to have to pick up some more. Am I close enough? I don't think I am. Do I need to open up our thingy? I think I need to get closer. Let's get a little closer. There we go. I don't think we had a whole lot. No, we didn't. All right. We're going to go back and pick up some more fertilizer here real quick. We better beacon up for safety. They said, oh, you can sell. Oh, no, wait a minute. Wait, you can store? Oh, I didn't know that. Wait a minute. We have to try this. So start overloading. I didn't know you could do that. So we overloaded into the silo. Now we should then be able to... Ah, and there's the liquid fertilizer. I didn't know you could overload. But now I want to fill. I want to fill. Let me fill. I don't want to overload. Let me fill. Do I need to do this? Let's pull out. Let's pull back in. I have filled up here before. Wow. Oh wait. Is that the problem? Why won't you let me fill? This is not where I fill. This is where I fill. Yeah, that's where I fill. Starting to panic. Well, I learned something new there. I didn't know we could unload fertilizer, and I think we could do the same with our herbicide and put it in the silo. I didn't know it would take liquids. Very nice. Very handy indeed. We won't need to do the old dump and run right there. Looks like our hired helper is just about ready to wrap things up over there, I think. Hopefully. Let's line this up a little bit better here. Turn on GPS. Get that going. Get this going. We now know it's 90. That looks pretty darn good right there. I'll take it. I'll take it and run with it. Yeah, there we go. Alfalfa's gonna like a little extra something, no doubt. Kind of curious to see what kind of yield we get. Well, that thing's just a bouncing, isn't it? Curious to see what kind of expected yield we get out of this. It's not, it's changing it. It's definitely putting it down. I think different crops require... Does this thing have the Iceria? Oh, it does. You know what? I wonder. Let's take a look at something. Let's take a peek at something here. Now I think we can turn on crop sensor. Alt B. Turn off. Turn on. So the crop sensor is now turned on. I don't know what that does. I think these guys here, these Iceria crop sensor dealios, I think they're supposed to make your applications more accurate, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's what's supposed to happen. I don't know that I've really noticed that before much, but I think that's the gist behind those things. So so we'll turn them on. I always forget to turn them on. I have forgotten to turn them on, but we'll do it now. It's never too late, I guess. The other thing that we haven't done that I am just not convinced does anything at all, it's supposed to, is we need to build one of those RTs. Are they called RTK stations? I believe that's what they're called, if I'm not mistaken. RTK. Ooh, sirens coming around, if you hear those. Oh, bye. Bye, Brad. Now I can't remember where they are. I'll have to take a look. But you know what I'm talking about for precision farming? How you build those buildings and they're supposed to make your hired helpers be more productive, I guess you could say. We put one down. I remember we put one down on Kubota Farm. And I don't know that I noticed any difference at all. So I don't know if they're there just for funsies or what. If, from what I remember, oh, bird just got wet. From what I remember, I think the idea was that your hired helpers would be more accurate. And I thought a little faster, maybe? And maybe that is true. Maybe it's just very slight. I mean, those stations aren't cheap. So I don't know if they really end up paying for themselves or not. Kind of like these Iceria crop sensors. I don't think they're very cheap. But I don't know if they really pay for themselves or not. Alright, Mr. Man. I think you're in my way. Let's find out if we're gonna hit him. I think we're gonna hit him. Oh, we're still gonna hit you. And I've got him on here too, and I've been forgetting to turn them on. I think I remembered putting those sensors on all the vehicles that would take them. I may have to go back and do a little reading and looking at precision farming stuff again. It's, what are we going on, 2 years since FS22 was released? Or probably what, a year and a half for precision farming? Did precision farming come out about 6 months after the release of FS22? I can't remember when it was when that was added. But it probably wouldn't hurt for me to go back and just look at the documentation again and see. I haven't been out to the Giants Academy lately either. Have any of you used the Giants Academy at all? Or do you just feel like you kind of know enough or want to just kind of learn what you don't know on your own? I remember going out there. I've been out there 2 or 3 times, and because they kept adding stuff, and I actually really, really like the idea. Quite a bit, actually. I think it's a great idea. I do kind of wish, though, and maybe they have, I wish they would have some more advanced courses. And I don't say that because I think I'm Mr. Farm Sim Pro, but there are some more advanced, where you going, Brad? There are some more advanced things that I would love to see covered. And maybe they will at some point, but it seems like the last time I was out there, they were just like all the basics. Like, here's how to plow, cultivating, things like that. Which is great. definitely. It was great. It was, I just kind of like to see, you know, next level things. I don't know, maybe they just get a little confusing if you get too deep into it. Like, I think some things in Farm Sim are, you just kind of have to roll with the flow. I think there's an expectation, because it's a simulator, one, but also because it's a game, and games are basically zeros and, I mean, games are math, right? Computers are math. So you would expect there to be some very specific formulas that stay consistent. And I think to some degree that is the case. Let me turn your little beacons off there. But I think to some degree things might fluctuate a bit, and maybe they just don't want to get into that in the academy. I'm going to have to go out there and take another look at it and see what's going on with it. I don't know how much precision farming information they have out there on the academy. I know there's a precision farming, if I remember right, there's some specific precision farming help, isn't there? Courseplay. Oh, Courseplay has its own help. That's kind of cool. Yeah, there's specific precision farming stuff here. That's right. The environmental score, I think, was what Tin Man and I were talking about for that mulching. And that may very well be the case. It might help. I have so not been paying attention at all to my environmental score. I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter because you get a bigger bonus. I also remember on Kubota Farm figuring out that if you took, how was that? It was either with herbicide. No, I think it was with fertilizer. That even if your field didn't need fertilizer, like if you looked at your precision farming map and your nitrogen was fine, even if you took the fertilizer sprayer over there, got on the field, sprayed for 2 seconds, it bumped your environmental score up. It was kind of a little bit of a cheat thing. I forgot about that. I'm going to have to check that out again. And we did that on Kubota Farm and definitely proved it to be true. So I know that that is something that I've seen other YouTubers show off as well. I always like watching the little suspension. I don't know why, but I do. I think that's going to wrap it up for June for us, I think. I'm not going to bother with any more contracts or anything. I think we're going to move on to July. Really, really like the way they do that horse right there. That's pretty cool. I think we're going to move on to July and get busy with some harvesting here. Get some crops in. Then we're going to have to look at what we're going to want to replant. Might as well hit the New Holland while we're here. Outstanding. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for checking in with me again. I sure appreciate it. I hope you have a really, really good Monday. And we'll be back here on Tranquil Waters tomorrow. I'm going to go check and see if Stevie's got any updates. I don't think so, but I'm going to double check that. Next time I see you, we'll probably be in July doing our thing. So again, thanks for joining me. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. I'd sure appreciate that. You're always welcome to subscribe or become a member if you'd like, or become a member. And of course, make sure you take care of yourselves and take care of everyone around you. Thanks for all the comments, all the kind words, suggestions, corrections, the whole 9 yards. Always glad to hear from y'all. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.